And I'm like, hey, Elizabeth, where are you going? And she looks straight in my eyes and says, I am going to triage to check myself in. I am in labor too. And the triage nurses have Elizabeth on a wheelchair rolling to the room next door and look at me and say, Gianna, she's 7 to 8 centimeters with a bulging bag of water. Hey guys, it's Gianna, Midwifay. Today's midwife moment story I am going to call Two Sisters in Labor at the Same Time. Let's take a look. So this story is from when I was a midwife working in Anchorage, Alaska, and I was working a night shift. That night wasn't necessarily a very busy night. It was me and an OB on. I think we had 1 or 2 patients there. One was someone in kind of an early phase of her induction, and the second patient was someone I was with more closely. She was also being induced with her first baby, but she was in active labor. She was around 6 or 7 centimeters. So this patient, let's call her Amber, she was being induced with her first baby. I don't remember the exact reason for her induction, but she was being induced, and her sister, let's call her Elizabeth, was there supporting her really well. Her sister was visibly pregnant, like at least 36, 37 weeks pregnant, and I had never met her before. You know, I briefly asked her. Yeah, she said she was about 38 weeks, I think, with her third baby, and she was just happy to be here with her sister. So I was really happy she was there for her. She essentially was being her sister's doula and helping her through this labor. A little bit of background on the unique situation that a lot of patients face in Alaska. This particular patient, Amber, she was from a rural village. And in Alaska, when a woman has some kind of higher risk pregnancy, whether it be a blood pressure disorder of pregnancy or diabetes, that requires further surveillance and the doctor's recommended induction, we fly them to Anchorage so that they can be there for a couple weeks leading up to their induction. So this patient was flown into Anchorage about 2 weeks ago for different appointments and to be there for her induction. It turns out that her sister Elizabeth is also from that same village, and they both were flown in for the same reason, for an induction. Again, Amber was having her first baby, Elizabeth was having her third, and they were flown in from their village. I don't remember exactly which one it was, and staying on our hospital campus. We had a hotel that accommodated them. So they were staying there and waiting for their labor inductions. Amber was in the midst of hers, and Elizabeth's wasn't scheduled for a couple of days. This background is important because a lot of times that was really hard for these patients to be away from their families, their other children, their partners. Sometimes they got vouchers for partners or a support person to be able to be there, but not always. So it was really nice for Amber, especially having her first baby far away from home, to be able to have her sister there with her. So now we're back with Amber in labor. She's doing really well. She did not want an epidural. She was using nitrous oxide. I'll do another video on that as a pain control method for labor. But she was using nitrous oxide, and her sister, the nurse, and myself were really just helping her through her contractions. She got to completely dilated, pushed her baby out. It was a lovely, beautiful birth. Baby girl was born without any complication. And Amber asked her sister Elizabeth to cut the cord, which I thought was really sweet. So Elizabeth cuts the cord, kisses the baby, kisses her sister, and walks towards the door, like is leaving. And me and the nurse look at each other like, what's going on? So I just ask. I look after her and I'm like, hey, Elizabeth, where are you going? And she looks straight in my eyes and says, I am going to triage to check myself in. I am in labor too. Mind you, throughout Amber's labor, Elizabeth has made no indication that she is uncomfortable, that she's contracting. She did not disappear and come back. I mean, girl was supporting her sister the whole way. So when she looked at me seriously with that look that I've seen, and you labor nurses, midwives, you guys out there know, when a woman's in labor and knows it, she knows it. There's no denying it. So she just looked at me and said, yeah, I'm in labor. I'm going to triage. So I finish attending to Amber, deliver her placenta, do everything that I need to do. Again, she had a lovely birth, is doing well with her baby girl. And the triage nurses have Elizabeth on a wheelchair rolling to the room next door and look at me and say, Gianna, she's 7 to 8 centimeters with a bulging bag of water. Yeah. So I was like, okay. So I had finished tending to Amber. She was like, go be with Elizabeth. I go around the corner. I help support, Elizabeth, and the nurse and I were there with her. It was a really quick transition and second stage of labor. And within less than 2 hours, her baby was born, and it was another beautiful birth. So that was a really unique night where I got to catch two babies from two different sisters who were in labor at the same time. I will never forget the way Elizabeth was so selfless and just able to be there and support her sister Amber. When I asked her after Elizabeth birthed her baby, I said, come on, were you in pain? Like, were you having contractions while Amber was delivering? Can you tell me, like, what was going on? Why didn't you say anything? And she just so quietly and sweetly said, I wanted to be there for Amber. This is her first baby. I wanted to support her and help her. She said, yes, I was uncomfortable. I knew that I was starting labor, but I wanted to be there for my sister. And that was just such a touching and sweet memory that I will have forever. If this story touched you too, please like, comment down below with your ideas, share with someone else. Just the power of women supporting women and people being supported when they're in labor is awesome. And I think those of us that work in the birth space know it. So this was a really good story about that. All right, I will see you next time. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.